You can have it all. Great pay, awesome benefits, a flexible schedule, the chance to grow. At Cox, we're recruiting auto and diesel technicians to join our Mannheim and Fleet Services teams. If you're ready for a new job and want to experience an award-winning workplace, drive your career forward with us. Visit cox.career/autotech to learn more. That's cox.career/autotech.
Oh, sorry, that's for a Democrat show.
No matter what the technical difficulty is, this man is a professional. He goes all the way.
What you represent to them is freedom.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This will allow me to retort.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver Common Sense Show. 8 p.m. on shrmedia.com.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, making sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com, click on the chat room button, join the conversation, and say hi to Kel. Good morning, Kel. If you want to watch a broadcast, go to Reaver.one, click on the live stream. If you like that live stream, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Keep up to date. If you want to support the show, or if you want to support SHR Media, go to Reaver.one, click on the Reaver store, pick yourself up a t-shirt, coffee mug, or even a Reaver jersey. All right. Oh, did I oversleep today? I literally just rolled out of bed 15 minutes ago. Whew. That's bad, because now I know I can get the show ready in that amount of time. Yeah. I got to go to bed earlier. I've been staying up way too late. And then what makes it worse is I'll go to bed, and I'll be on my phone reading articles, going over articles, just scouring the news for anything interesting till like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Oh. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. So, preparing for the migrant onslaught, Switzerland ready to post tanks at border with Italy. Switzerland has announced it is considering stationing a tank battalion at its southern border with Italy after news that Austria is ready to completely shut down the Brenner Pass between Italy and Australia. Oh, I could use another one, Cal. I still got my normal 18 ounces, but I could always use another one. In a matter of just hours, Europe's migrant crisis has escalated following the unexpected announcement Wednesday night by Austria's defense minister that his country is prepared to close its border if Italy does not get its migrant problem under control. They all need to close their borders and secure them. Stop playing this game. Stop playing with the destruction. They're mounting their own destruction of their own country. And they sit back and they think nothing of it. It seems to be like a pass the buck. Each country doesn't want to take the total responsibility. And if the other country is going to close its borders, they're going to close borders because they don't want the influx of migrants. It's up to the other country's responsibility to take control of those migrants. Well, I think the world needs to say enough. Enough. We're closing everybody's borders. If you want to leave your countries in Syria, that's fine. But you're going to go into the Middle East. You're going to stay in the Middle East. There is God knows how many countries that could take you in, to have the ability, the financing to take you in. It would not be that much of a culture shock. I know the cultures aren't exactly the same, but going from Iraq, Syria to Iran, Saudi Arabia, any of those Middle Eastern. I know there's a lot more. Not only is it a less of a culture shock, it's a lot closer. Taking that trek all the way to Europe, compared to going to your neighbor, be a hell of a lot better. Maybe if the Middle East started taking care of its own, instead of trying to kill each other, things would be doing a lot better in the world. But no, they don't want to take anybody in because they understand what it means. They understand that there's a high probability that you'd be importing. Oh, I just noticed that. Hang on. There we go. I forgot to turn the video on. Had it running, just didn't turn the webcam on. Don't worry, the only thing you missed is me yawning a bunch of times. The Middle East needs to step up, open its doors.
Your business needs AI solutions that are not only ambitious, but also practical and adaptable. That's where Domo's AI and data products platform comes in. With Domo, you can channel AI and data into innovative uses that deliver measurable impact. Secure AI agents connect, prepare, and automate your data workflows, helping you gain insights, receive alerts, and act with ease through guided apps tailored to your role. Domo is built to meet the challenges of today's AI landscape with a robust, all-in-one platform powered by trust, flexibility, and years of expertise in data and AI innovation. Data is hard. Domo is easy. Learn how Domo can help you unlock your data's full potential at ai.domo.com. That's ai.domo.com.
Hey there, Ryan Reynolds here. It's a new year, and you know what that means. No, not the diet. Resolutions. A way for us all to try and do a little bit better than we did last year. And my resolution, unlike big wireless, is to not be a raging and raise the price of wireless on you every chance I get. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited. See mintmobile.com for details.
Open its borders. It could tell better who's who. But I understand. They don't want to because they would be importing ISIS into their own country. They're the only ones with any amount of brain, it seems like. I'm sorry. If it's the difference between them or us, them or the United States, or if I'm a Britain, them or the UK, or if I'm French, them or France, and so forth and so on. I choose my own country over strangers. I don't think there's anybody listening that would choose a homeless person that they don't know and a high probability of being a serial killer over their family and the safety of their family. I don't know many people that would be inviting that homeless person into their house, and I'm not trying to pick on homeless. I'm just using it as an example, because that's what these invaders are. They're homeless. And they very well could be some kind of extremist, jihadist extremist, Muslim extremist. Wake up. You would not be inviting them into your house. For the safety of your own family and the safety of your own house. But if you knew that that homeless person, there was a high probability that homeless person was going to be an ISIS member or some kind of terrorist, would you open that door to them? And I'm just trying to make the comparison of inviting a high probability of a migrant being a serial killer to the Muslims, being invited into countries. And Kel, I wanted to thank you. I was slightly not embarrassed, but in awe and honored that you would take. She had taken a bit for my show yesterday. I think it was about a 2-minute bit, and broadcasted it on her show and used it as part of her show. I felt very honored that you would do that, and I just don't have the words. Thank you. What is going on in Europe? They all need to shut their borders down. They all need to stop the influx. If they stop allowing them to come in, they're not going to come in with the regularity that they are. They need to turn them away. And I know that's inhumane, but you know what? Sometimes you got to take care of your own. You got to take care of your own before you take care of anything or anybody else. I guess this is what I was trying to get to with the analogy. And that's what these countries need to do. And I'm starting to wonder if Germany is starting to get it, that they're going to have to take care of their own. Because they're now making laws that these, quote-unquote, migrants need to Damn. Yawning again. They need to learn German. They need to assimilate into German lifestyle. The German people about had it, and I think the government officials are running scared, knowing that their little experiment and they're not listening to the people is backfiring, and they are in danger of losing their positions. So now they're trying to slowly force the assimilation of the migrants. If you want. I mean, you can call them migrants, you can call them invaders, you can call them refugees, you can call them terrorists, you can call them anything you want. I call them that they don't belong. Now, a lot of these do not want to come to the United States. They outright do not want to come to the United States. After Italy sharply criticized the Australian plan, Switzerland has declared it is considering posting tanks to secure its border with Italy. We expect a significant increase in the number of refugees this summer. Number one, I didn't know Switzerland had tanks. I know that may sound dumb, but psychologically, it was always brought up that they are neutral, they are peaceful, they are not about war. They are always neutral. Everybody leaves them alone, and they just sit there, don't get involved. So they have no need for tanks. Well, I didn't even know I knew they somewhere had an army. Well, it's to say, Switzerland are the ones that protect the Pope, so. So it's just, I know it sounds stupid, but things that make you go, You can't know everything about everything. And that's the thing. I never really cared who has a military and what type of military. I knew we had one of the best, if not the best, military in the world. Or at least we used to. I mean, our boys are still the greatest fighting. But, I mean, where our military fleets, our aircraft are getting grounded because they don't have the money to fix them. They're almost duct taping these planes to keep them flying on these missions because Obama has cut the military so bad. So I don't even know if we could protect our damn border.
What makes a great pair of glasses? At Warby Parker, it's all the invisible extras without the extra cost. Their designer quality frames start at $95, including prescription lenses, plus scratch-resistant, smudge-resistant, and anti-reflective coatings, and UV protection, and free adjustments for life. To find your next pair of glasses, sunglasses, or contact lenses, or to find the Warby Parker store nearest you, head over to warbyparker.com. That's warbyparker.com.
Orders anymore. And that's sort of what this idiot wants. And I love these people that are speaking up, saying, we shouldn't be putting fences up. We shouldn't be protecting borders. We should have open borders. And we should let everybody come and go as we please. Sort of like Mark Zuckerberg, the jackass that he is. Yeah, he was running his mouth recently. Going after Trump about the wall. Well, wouldn't you know it? He has a wall surrounding his house to protect his family. He's allowed to have a wall for protection. He doesn't let people come and go in and out of his house as they please. That is the hypocrisy of the left and their bullshit. And we're going to be going after an article. No, it's a gun article after the top of the hour. And the hypocrisy of the left. And yes, Kel said it exactly. Yeah, because it would deplete Zucky Boy's cheap labor flow. And that's exactly what he wants. With these H-1B1 visas, the company holds that visa. And that means that that person cannot go find a better paying job. Because they tell the company, yes, I need my visa. I found another job. I'm giving you my 2 weeks. They go, nope, we're keeping your visa. You're going back. So he gets to pay these employees cheap wages. Yes, I know they push for the $15 an hour. But when you're talking positions that should be paying hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, well, they're going for minimum wage because they control the visas. So, of course, he wants these illegals to come in. He wants these H-1B1s because he could pay them cheaply. And then complain about other companies not paying the high prices for the labor as he lives in his castle surrounded by walls. That's okay. When he... And it's something I read, I think he has like 3 main houses. When he opens up the door and allows everybody to walk in and out freely, then I'll listen to him about borders. Then I'll listen to him about not putting a wall up to our south. And I love how people bitch and complain about the United States wanting to protect itself with a border to the south. And they talk about it being racist and wrong against Mexico, when Mexico has a fucking wall to the south. And they've had it for years, and nobody said a goddamn thing. Not one word was said. Nothing was said about Mexico building a wall. But the United States wants to protect itself. And, oh my God, everybody loses their mind. They freak out. And you know what? I think we ought to have a border between Canada and the United States. Not because I don't like Canada. It's not because I don't trust Canada. It has nothing to do with Canada or the people of Canada. It has to deal with people being able to get into certain areas that they wouldn't maybe able to get through America. But the border is porous there too. And just as I don't want someone being able to come up through Mexico and go into Canada and attack. And yes, Canada is a target. And that's the other thing. He's talking about open borders and all this and for migrants, as these migrants want to fucking kill Jews. And he is Jewish. His child is Jewish descent. And they would kill that baby in a heartbeat. See, that's why I have a problem with all this. That it really hits home with me. I'm not Jewish. If anything, Methodist. But the problem is my wife comes from a Jewish family, which makes her a target. Which makes my daughter a target. Which makes me a very pissed off person. That's why I have an issue with all this. It is for the protection of my wife and my daughter. Not because I don't like them. Well, I don't like them because they want to kill my wife and daughter. That's where the issue comes in. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. We'll be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
To Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cow for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the ReaverCommonSense.com. While you're there, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. And yes, Cal, I could hear someone breathing. And not me, I could hear someone. I guess it was your the host, co-host that you're with. I could hear him breathing. Just like the one bad thing I've noticed and I haven't been able to figure out. I know on my video feed, my mic is not muted for the video. Even though it is muted on my board, I can still hear everything going on. And that annoys the living daylights out of me. All right, so this was not set up. I just came across it on break. Last night there was this big party in New York, a gala for the Republican Party, and they had all three candidates there to talk. And I want to play this because I think it goes to the fact that a lot of people are waking up, and they're tired of it. You know, they bought into a certain candidate's bullshit for a while, but especially being in New York, and his New York values comments, and I know his supporters, even up in that area, are trying to downplay the comment, protect it. Cruz is now trying to blame Trump for the comment, which just every which way, this guy always blames Trump for everything. His actions, and this is one of the reasons why I'm not for Cruz. He points his finger at anybody and everybody else. And that is exactly what we've had for the last 7.5 years, roughly, is a president that took no responsibility. And that's a lawyer for you. They point the fingers to everybody else. So when Trump was up and talking, everybody was quiet and they were listening. Now this is Cruz up and talking. I don't know if you could hear him in the background.
To join our team, to stand as one, to stand united. And let me know, the way we win a general election, right now, if you look at the national polls, I'm beating Hillary.
Now, as he's speaking, everybody's just going on about their dinner. They're not paying attention to what he's saying. They're having their own little conversation and ignoring him. I mean, seriously, from what the video can show, because someone took a video of it and thought it was funny, you don't even see people turn towards Cruz. They're turned inward on the tables. You know, I'm pretty sure people have been to these, maybe not these types of men, but where someone's speaking, and you have all these round tables all over the place, or even a wedding, and everybody will have their eyes on the wedding table when they're speaking. And if not, everybody's inward looking on their own, going up and talking to each other. And that's exactly, I'm going to play it again. It's 15 seconds, so I find it funny. It's in New York. Cruz made that New York values comment, and they're letting him know. And so many times this has happened. This isn't the first time. There was one of those CPACs had something going, and Trump backed out at the last minute. One of the rumors was Cruz had set up. Ouch. Cruz had set up for a large portion of the audience was going to get up and walk out on Ted Cruz. And it would hit the paper, hit the news that nobody wanted to listen to his message. True conservatives did not want to leave his message, and they got up and walked out. So he canceled, so that kind of went out and about. So a nice portion of the crowd walked out on Cruz. And I think this shows the atmosphere of the country.
To join our team, to stand as one, to stand united. And let me know, the way we win a general election, right now, if you look at the national polls, I'm beating Hillary.
Yeah, he's beating Hillary on the national polls. And the national polls that show that his polling numbers are going down and Trump's are going up. He never talks about that. He never talks about how he cannot beat Trump. His numbers are sliding down. All the issues are starting to catch up to him, and his numbers are sliding down. And you hear how he's even talking a little bit louder. And he's bringing his voice up just to try to get over the crowd without screaming. And still, nobody's listening. He's telling the same old political bullshit time and time again. I love how he's always, this percentage of the people don't want Trump. Well, he's polling in the 40s, somewhere in the 40s. So he says that 60% of the country roughly does not want Trump. Well, he's down in the 20s. And I think he might be at 20 in the latest poll. So that means 80% of the country does not want Cruz. He never tells you that part. And that is what really shows that this guy is dishonest. That's what really shows this guy will lie straight to your face. Maybe not lie, but he won't give you all the information. He'll only give you part of it. And that's what I'm sick of many things. But politicians doing that kind of crap. You know, he doesn't give you the whole story. He gives you only the picture he wants. And that's exactly what lawyers do. And yes, I will say it like I said it when I typed it on my Facebook. That's what a fucking lawyer will do. Because I guess I had someone trying to prove a point of, you know, how I talk, and I guess they were trying, and because I had put fucking lawyers, and he put, you know, I hope you don't need, in quotations, a fucking lawyer. Well, I have used fucking lawyers, and my father-in-law was a fucking lawyer. He is now retired. Doesn't mean I don't like him. Doesn't mean that there isn't necessity of lawyers, but lawyers for the most part, most lawyers are scumbags. They're lying snakes. They will say and do anything to make you believe them. So, I mean, and that's my opinion. And hey, you don't like it? Piss off! When I'm on my personal Facebook and I say something, if you don't like it, I really don't give a shit. Because that's my opinion. And what's going on with Cruz? Holy shit. How did I go on to talk about a total right turn? He doesn't talk about the fact that, well, what is he polling? 17% in New York City? Some low number like that? Trump has hit 60% in one of the polls, but he's 50% or high, 50 to 60% in the New York polls. But he doesn't tell you that, and the RNC doesn't tell you that, but they'll tell you he can't get to 1237. Trump can't do it. Well, what they don't tell you is that he can do it, and it's Cruz that can't do it, and Kasich that cannot do it. Kasich is mathematically out of it. And if Trump gets over the 50% mark, he's going to win all with New York. I know it's a little bit more in-depth than that. He has to win over 50% in each county of New York. If he does that and he gets all, 95 delegates, Cruz will be mathematically eliminated. But they won't talk about that. And Cruz, who has been calling on Kasich to exit because he cannot hit the 1237, it's an impossibility. So if Cruz is at a point that it's impossible for him to get it, and it's still possible for Trump, which it is, will he back out of the race? No, he won't. Because he thinks, and he's expecting it to go to a contested convention and for the nomination to be handed to him. The second place finisher is expecting to be handed the nomination. And I don't care how you slice it. That's what is going to happen. The first loser of the voting getting the nomination. The first loser. That speaks volumes. And that speaks volumes about our politics in this country and what is wrong with it. Yes, I know it's been around for hundreds of years, and it was needed at one point. But it is a rule that they left in so that they had control of who the nominee was. They left it in there so they could control who the nominee was. Not the people, the RNC. The DNC has the same thing. They have control over who the nominee is going to be. And don't tell me, well, they have the right. It's their party. Yeah, and who is the party? The people. Just like the federal government is the people, is run by the people, is given the power by the people. And we've now gone to the point where the RNC and DNC think they are in charge. They don't have to answer to the people. The federal government feels the same way nowadays, that it does not have to answer to the people. Yeah. I think some people need to check their egos at the door. Even if we started 2 more parties up, in time, they would be corrupt again. We really need to put limits in this country to limit the corruption. We need to limit from local to state to federal. So as to lessen the impact of corruption. We need these parties to go back to the people and not to the elite. And this problem is bigger than just the United States. This problem is worldwide. We have governments across this world that are supposed to be about freedom, that are turning into everything that we fought against as people. I've said it before. World War II was fought to keep the spread of socialism. The evil that comes with socialism, we went to war over. To stop countries from being overrun. And what do we have going on? Those same countries that said we had to go to war against socialism, now socialists, or trying to turn it into socialism, limiting the speech of its people, silencing its people, and having an overrun of its people. And it's not just the United States. It's the European nations, Canada. All these countries that fought against socialism is now turning socialism, and it just boggles my mind. It really does. I'm just at a loss for words with that. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. We'll be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
To Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cough for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint.
all good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Saku as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date on everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, making sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com. Click on the chat room button. Join the conversation. If you want to watch a broadcast, go to reaver.one. Click on the live stream. If you like this live stream, do not forget to subscribe and comment. If you want to support the show or support SHR Media, go to reaver.one and click on the Reaver store. Yeah, Cal, the Citadel is now considering a first-ever uniform exception, allowing a Muslim... I can't even say it. I can't. I'm getting tired of it. We're giving in to anything and everything except for what America has stood for. And it's not change that I'm afraid of. We're losing everything about us, and we're being turned into the Middle East. It just... I'm at a loss. A political party proposes negative migration as national population experiences record growth. Oh, and don't forget, do not forget, after the first of the hour, I do have a special report on there's a new ruling on a gun, on the Second Amendment that is, well, just unbelievable. I cannot believe it. And you're going to want to tune in after the first of the hour to hear it. But if you get offended easily, you may not want to tune in because it's going to be a doozy. I could just say that. But a political party proposes negative migration as national population experiences record growth. As new statistics show, over 3/4 of all population growth in Sweden is down to foreigners. The nation's lone dissenting political voice on mass migration has said it is time to start expelling migrants in greater numbers. Economic spokesman for the Sweden Democrat Party has spoken out this week regarding that far from just controlling the borders, the Swedish government should be sending away more migrants than arriving, creating, in effect, negative immigration figures. His new policy suggestion came in an interview with the party's own web TV program. Speaking online, he said Sweden should gear up reparations, remarking, step one is, of course, to bring down the volume as strongly as possible. Actually taking it to zero, or if I'll be honest, into negative volumes. We can't just have a reduce immigration. We need to actually have reparations too. He also said a multi-billion crown project to get immigrants into work should also be abolished, as very few ever succeed, despite the numerous amounts of money lavished on them. The Sweden Democrat hardline stance on mass migrations were considered extreme and unpalatable by government coalition partners and the mainstream media 12 months ago. Yet, as the migrant crisis has deteriorated, others have shifted towards their point of view. Now that even centric parties condone some forms of border control, the Sweden Democrats are again shifting the narrative beyond mere border checks, but into mass deportation. These are the same fuckers that caused the problem. These are the same idiots that brought this problem upon Sweden, are the same idiots that are pushing for it in the United States, the same idiots that are pushing for it in other European unions, and the same idiots that are pushing for it in Canada. But in years to come, they'll be crying about it. And just as these idiots of Sweden are going, uh-oh, we screwed up. Well, it's a little too late. Maybe if you would have listened to your people, you wouldn't be in this position. Maybe if you jackasses did not think you were smarter than everybody else, none of these problems would be happening. Maybe if you'd open your ears and close your mouth more often, we wouldn't be in these situations. Maybe if you took your ego and set it aside and realized you are not the smartest people in the fucking room, I don't think you'd be the smartest person in the room if you were in the room by yourself. Maybe if you listened more and talked less. The suggestion of severely limiting migrant numbers in Sweden comes against not just... And you know what? I know I'm going to see that possibly in my time in the United States. I know I'm going to see it in Canada, the same thing. These left lunatics going, oh, well, we have an issue here about the migrants. And holy shit, we have all these problems. Maybe we don't want to keep bringing them in. I've seen where the Democrat Party used to be about the Constitution and freedoms. But the Democrats that we have now are not the Democrats of the 80s or the 90s. This is not the party Bill Clinton was in charge of. There's been a massive transformation in the Democrat Party. And the Republican Party, too. I mean, somewhere along the line, they kind of merged on the extremism. Kel's telling me that there was more rioting by the migrants last night in the English Channel Tunnel. I think the UK is kind of waking up to it too. There's certain elements within the parliament that are seeing the issue, especially when you have no-go towns. Your own towns you cannot even step foot in. Your own people cannot go into its own towns because, and it's not, I mean, let's call it what it is. The mass migration of Muslims have taken over these areas, and they're not assimilating into the cultures. They're taking over areas and claiming it for their own. That is an invasion. And I'm sorry if people think I'm being prejudiced against the Muslims. I don't see Asians doing that. I see Chinatowns all over the United States. You're more than welcome to go in those areas. They realize that is not their property. They assimilate into the American way. Do they keep their culture? Yes. I'm not saying you can't keep your culture, but you assimilate to the country that you're living in. You assimilate to doing business and doing the way of life to their way. What I find funny, all these Muslims that are coming in and mandating that we assimilate to them are the same people who are running from countries where you couldn't speak up and mandate anything. That's why they're running. They're running away from countries that they couldn't speak up in. But they can speak up in ours. Well, you're running away from a country that has massive issues and no freedoms. So you want to come into other countries and recreate the country you just left. Does not make a lick of sense to me. If you're that afraid of the issues, if you're that afraid of the country you just left, you wouldn't be trying to recreate it. Period. It's you would not want that life again. Is there some Muslims that come to the United States because they want freedoms, because they want the American dream? Yes, there is. Do some come into Europe because they want to get away from the war-torn Middle East? Yes. Do they try to become part of society in those areas and assimilate? Yes. But it seems we have this issue of that mass exodus that's going on. And it seems like they're more a part of invading and taking over than leaving a war-torn area. Leaving an area they seem to be trying to spread that evil. And yes, as Cal pointed out too, people from Chinatown don't rape the women and confiscate bottles of wine. I don't see Chinatown going into historical sites and destroying them, sites that have been around for hundreds, thousands of years, and burning everything and destroying buildings that have been around for 2,000 years. And we're supposed to welcome them with open arms. We're supposed to not worry and question. Now, Kel was telling me something in the chat room, and I do believe her. I'm trying to excuse me, I know I'm going to butcher this. But Muslims who reject the words of Muhammad are called heterodox Muslims. Now, I know I probably just butchered that. And yes, if that's true, if that's what they're called, and they're against this extremism, then those are the Muslims I don't mind. I have no problem with Muslims. I don't give a shit whose religion is. Has in history Christians at one time? Maybe well, not maybe, they were on the wrong side of history. Yes. Jews? Yes. All religions at one point in time were on the wrong side of history. Christians were killing people, 1,000 years ago? You either converted or you died. That was also a time that was less cultured than we are now. But they learned They learned. Muslims have been doing this for thousands of years, and they still continue to do it. Those are the ones I have problems with. And if you're going to try to shut me down by calling me a bunch of names and labeling me, yeah, that tells me I'm on the right path and that you're scared shitless I'm making points. And I do have a friend. I mean, he doesn't do it to me, but he will talk about it and say people are being racist against Muslims and all this and that. No. They see what's going on and they're being realistic. They're being realistic about the problem that is facing this world right now. Back in 2001, they really woke up. And if you look at it, we really didn't have this mass issue that we have now until September 11, 2001. For some reason, they woke up and it has been hell. And anybody that does not think that we're not in World War III, you're kidding yourself. I know it's not the war. It's not a war that your grandfather knew. Or your great-grandfather fought. This is a totally different type of war that we're in right now. A world war. But it's going on. And I could see it escalating into a point of what we know as a world war. If we don't do something to stop it. Remember, after the top of this hour, after the next break, I will be talking about a recent court decision that's affecting the Second Amendment. We'll be right back, right after this message. And you're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains.
Done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
To Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighPlainsDailyNews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians.
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
A team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying coffee is stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date on everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, making sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com. Just click on the chat room button, join the conversation. If you want to watch a broadcast of the Reaver Show, or Reaver of Common Sense, go to Reaver.1, click on the live stream. If you like that live stream, don't forget to hit subscribe and keep up to date. If you want to support the show or support SHR Media, go to Reaver.1 and click on the Reaver store. Pick up a t-shirt, coffee mug, or even a Reaver jersey. So, this one has me quite pissed off because I don't understand where the judge is coming from. Maybe a little bit, and it'll go later in the article. But the judge has ruled against the gun companies that are being sued by the families of the Sandy Hook victims from the Sandy Hook from the school and Sandy Hook. And he says that the lawsuit may proceed. What pisses me off is these families are being used. Their tragedy is being used, and they are being manipulated for political gains. And the only one it's going to hurt is those families. We just had it recently with the, I think it was the Colorado Aurora movie theater shooting, where the families tried to sue the bullet manufacturer, and now the families are left with paying the legal bills of everybody. And the people that pushed for this lawsuit just walked away clean. The ones that pushed it just walked away and left the family with the tab. These anti-gun Anti-Second Amendment groups are using these families, and as we've talked about, I've talked about it openly, I don't hide it. In fact, I talk about it freely. Those gun shield laws were put in well after my dad was shot. My dad had the ability to sue the manufacturer, to sue the bullet manufacturer. But he didn't. Why? Because he realized they had nothing to do with a criminal committing acts of crime against the public. It was not the manufacturer. But a judge in Connecticut on Thursday rejected the request from the gun manufacturer and sellers to dismiss a lawsuit filed by relatives of those killed in the Sandy Hook Elementary School massacre in 2012, saying the lawsuit could go forward. Connecticut Superior Court Judge Barbara Bellis wrote that she could not grant the request to dismiss the suit based on a federal shield law that protects gun makers and sellers. Surprise, surprise, there's a law that protects them, but yet she says she couldn't, grant a request to dismiss based on that there's a federal law protecting them. Oh, yeah, she had to ignore that. A decision hailed by the families who filed the suit and praised by advocates for stronger gun laws as a victory. So even though there is a law protecting them, the judge has totally ignored that. Which right there is going to give grounds for an appeal no matter what, and it would get overturned. This judge, I don't know what the hell she's thinking. I really don't. Bellis said she was responding to the relatively narrow question of whether the court had jurisdiction to consider the claim and ultimately considered that any immunity the shield law may provide does not implicate this court's subject matter jurisdiction. She added that she was confining her analysis to the jurisdiction issue, focusing on the topic rather than potentially challenges to legal sufficiency of the lawsuit, and said such arguments would need to be made in a different motion. In the lawsuit, which comes from the estate of 9 of the 26 people killed in the massacre and a survivor of the attack, attorneys say they are attempting to hold gun manufacturers and sellers accountable. This should and will open it up to automotive manufacturers, automotive dealers, to lawsuits when murder is committed with a vehicle. The used car dealership will be allowed to be sued and should be sued then. And also go to the dealership where the car was originally sold. Everybody that sold that car will be open to lawsuit. Including the manufacturer should be sued. And I don't want to hear that's different. Bullshit. You're saying it's different because you don't want that affecting your life. Because the cost of the automobiles would skyrocket so fucking high, it'd make your head spin. It would be affecting these jackasses that make these lawsuits. I'm sorry you lost someone in your family. God damn it, my father was shot and we had common sense. We knew it wasn't the manufacturer. We knew it wasn't the gun seller. We knew it was some sick and depraved son of a bitch that pulled the trigger. I'm tired of this bullshit. They are being used and manipulated. These attorneys, these scumbag pieces of shit fucking attorneys, argue in their filings that the companies are selling weapons used by the military and law enforcement to civilians. Well, you know what? The Glock is used by the military and civilians. But I don't hear you going after that one. You go after the one that's scary looking. The one that was made, it was a civilian rifle. That's the funny part. It was a civilian rifle that was marketed to the military. The military then the gun manufacturer made changes so that it could be used in the military. What you see on the street sold to civilians is a civilian rifle. It is not the military rifle. This goes to the fact that these jackasses don't know their ass from a hole in the ground when it comes to talking about guns. It pisses me off when I read things like this. It shows how scummy lawyers are. Then people wonder why I don't want fucking Ted Cruz. He is one of these attorneys. He, not to get off subject too much, he actually tried to uphold the banning of sex toys. The man that is for the Constitution wants small government, wants responsibility of the people, and people to have freedoms of their own life, said you can't have pleasure the way you want. I will tell you how to have pleasure by my standards, and you must live by those standards. We'll talk about that more, hopefully, later if I remember. Manufacturers and sellers are responded by arguing the court to dismiss the complaint, saying that although the shooting was undeniably tragic, the lawsuit isn't allowed under the Protection of Law, Commerce, and Arms Act, the SHIELD law passed by Congress in 2005 after numerous lawsuits against gun manufacturers. And what they're hoping for is that they can start suing these companies and they will shut down. There is your gun ban. But these fucking idiots... we don't want to ban guns. We don't want to ban guns. No, we don't want to. No one ever said ban guns. You are a fucking retard. You bashed your head into a wall too many times, or you counted the steps with your head too many times. Maybe you ate the lead paint chips. But I'm getting tired of jackasses. That wasn't right, Kel. So talking about the sex toys that he wants to have banned. They'll take my sex toys out of my cold, stiff hands. That was funny. Oh. I'm sick and tired of these lawyers and on the left. If you're gonna do it, have the balls to stand up. Don't fucking hide. Don't be a pussy and hide. Stand up for what you want. Speak out what you want. And you idiots that are pushing the socialism, speak up that you want the destruction of the United States. Don't hide. No, we want to make America. No, you don't. You don't want to do shit. You want to destroy this country. And these freaking lawyers and pieces of shit politicians that are against the Second Amendment. Come out and say you don't give a fuck about the American people. You don't care about citizens because you're protected. Be honest about it, because that's what you're saying when you do shit like this. You don't give a shit about the families. You care about pushing your political agendas and using people for the outcome. She also dismissed an argument that the states could not be able to bring claims under the Connecticut Unfair Trade Practice Acts, saying the question of whether this act covers the allegation is not a ground on which the case can be dismissed for jurisdictional reason. Attorneys for the Remington Arm Company and other companies named in the lawsuit did not immediately respond to requests for comment on Thursday, and no additional filings were available by Thursday night. A status conference in the case is scheduled for next week. We are thrilled that the gun company's motion to dismiss was denied. The families look forward to continuing their fight in court. And you know what? You're making them look desperate. Bell said that given the arguments made by the gun manufacturer and sellers regarding this law, another legal avenue, a motion to strike rather than dismiss, would be the proper procedural vehicle. She is allowing a case to go forth that has protection against it. There is exceptions in those laws that if a manufacturer is knowingly and willingly selling guns for the purpose of breaking laws, it is open to lawsuit. Guns are not just an offensive weapon. Guns are not just about murder. Guns are not just about killing. It's also about protection. It's an a defensive piece. These people that push this anti-gun agenda, majority of them don't know shit about guns. They don't know shit about assault rifles, quote unquote. They don't know anything about what it's like to feel like you can't protect yourself. They don't know what it's like because the ones that are trying to push these have security around them at all times. They don't know how it feels to be vulnerable. They don't know how it feels to know that any moment some crazed idiot can come take your life and there's not a goddamn fucking thing you can do about it because these politicians want to control you and they know they cannot control an armed populace. When you have the likes of Harry Reid, Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders give up their security, give up their armed security, then we'll talk. When the president gives up his armed security and the armed security for his family, then we'll talk. When they start giving up their protection, hi Jen. When they start giving up their protection, we'll talk about us giving up ours. But until that day, there is no. It's a tragedy what happened that day in Connecticut. It's a tragedy. No matter which way you looked at it. They're going after a gun manufacturer when it wasn't even sold to the kid. The kid killed his mother and stole her guns. What good did those laws do? Not a goddamn thing. Because when a person has malice in its heart, it will find a way to commit it. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. We'll continue the discussion about these idiots right after this break.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
To Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver Common Sense Show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying Kafka, stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the ReaverCommonSense.com. While you're there on Reaver Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date on everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. Trying to make sense out of the senseless, and it just keeps getting harder and harder. It does. Every day it's harder. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com. Just click on the chat room button. Join the conversation. If you want to watch a broadcast, go to Reaver.one. Click on the live stream button. If you like this live stream, don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to support the show or you want to support SHR Media, go to Reaver.one and click on the Reaver store. Pick up a t-shirt. Now, also, Dan the Man Butcher stopped in the chat room real quick, dropped the bombshell, and then left the room. DePaul University bans chalk in the name of student safety. We now have to ban assault chalk. Chalk is being banned by college students, university students. These are supposed to be adults. It is getting... You couldn't even make a movie this... I couldn't even come up with half the shit that this is about. This is absolutely ridiculous. Chalk is now banned at universities because you might write the word Trump and offend people. You might write the word Trump 2016 and people will have to run to counselors. Have we turned into that big of a pussy of the country? I'm speechless. If you go to hppundit.com, there's an article. DePaul University bans chalk in the name of. Go there and read it. Dan writes some of the best articles. It hurts my head to even think about that. We've turned into that big of a wimpy nation. Thank you, Obama. Thank you. So, we were talking prior to the idiocy of the left on chalk. Their idiocy of trying to sue a gun manufacturer for someone that killed his mother and stole her weapons that were bought legally and passed background checks legally. And how's this the gun manufacturer's fault that he murdered his mother? Oh my God. It just God, I'm getting a headache. But the Protection of the Lawful Commerce in Arms Act is the United States law which protects firearm manufacturers and dealers from being held liable when crimes have been committed with their products. However, both manufacturers and dealers can still be held liable for damages resulting from defective parts, breach of contract, criminal misconduct, and other actions for which they are directly responsible in much the same manner that any U.S.-based manufacturer of consumer product is held responsible. They may also be held liable for negligence when they have reason to know a gun is intended for use in a crime. In the years before the passage, victims of firearm violence in the United States had successfully sued manufacturers and dealers for negligence on the grounds that they should have foreseen that their product would be diverted to criminal use. In 1998, Chicago Mayor Richard Daley sued gun maker and dealer saying you can't expect the status quo on business, which makes money and then have no responsibility to us as citizens. How about the citizens being responsible for them fucking selves? How about that? I'm still a chalk ban. Oh my God. Steal someone else. I know it's not his, but I've been listening to another guy lately, and to the students that get their feelings hurt about chalk, suck it up, Buttercup. My little Buttercup. They can't get a ban through, so they want to sue the shit out of the manufacturers so that they will be put out of business, so there will be no guns. And voila. The problem is these companies will be put out of business, and our military and our law enforcement will not have access to guns at that point because it's not feasible for these manufacturers just to make guns for federal, for military and police. It's not feasible for their business model. They have to sell to the public. So by doing this, you're going to push companies out of business. Oh, that's right. They don't care because they'll just buy from a foreign company that still allows all that. I see how it goes. Yeah. I am just at a loss. Why? What is it going to do for those families? Especially when it gets brought up and they lose the case. Just as the Colorado or Aurora theater shootings, they lost their case and had to pay back all the legal cost for the company. What then? How many more times are we going to allow the same bullshit to happen over and over again? The crime rate has gone down. Actually, since a lot of states started allowing their citizens to arm themselves and protect themselves. The crime rate, the crime rate has gone down. Obama even had to admit during his little town hall meeting that we're at a record low on gun violence since states started allowing their citizens to carry. Just as this country Constitution and Bill of Rights says we are to carry allowed. It's families that are still hurting and emotionally void. It takes years. It takes more than years. It takes decades to get over dealing with a family member being shot. And I don't even want to say it takes years to get over it. It's always there. It always will be there. But it takes a long time for you to come to grips with it. And it's different for everybody how long it takes. It took me a good 20 years. But never once did I blame gun manufacturer for the actions of a criminal. There was a sick gentleman. He killed his mother, but in the liberal fashion, they want to point the finger at everybody else except for the person that should be held responsible. He killed his mother. Do you think he gave a shit about any laws? He went into a school and murdered children. He murdered his mother. What law does he care about? Tell me that. Tell me what law would have stopped him. Seem to remember during the 80s and 90s that the friggin' left cried about people that were being put into psych hospitals, that they had rights to be free. And now these same people that would have been committed now are roaming the street. And you want to blame the gun manufacturers because the left pushed us? The left screamed, we can't be instituting these people? Doesn't mean that we have to institute all of them, but the red tape you have to go through because of the left. It seems anything the left touches anymore, civilians die. Shouldn't we be blaming the left? Shouldn't we be doing what they do instead of pointing the responsible part? Well, actually, the left is responsible ultimately for a lot of the problems that we have in this country. and the right is not innocent, no. The Republicans are nowhere near innocent. You're never going to stop murder. Never. There's nothing you could say, do, that will stop it. And these modern day hippies that think we can hug our way out of issues and laugh our way out of issues. Hey, I agree. Laughter is one of the best medicines. Shit, I love to laugh. I poke fun at myself all the time. I poke fun at my wife's height all the time. Gets me punched in the shins. You know, it doesn't mean I don't love my wife. I love her very much, but the idiocy of the left, it's just... It is a mental illness. And these tree-hugging, flower power hippies. And that's what it is. The Democrat Party that we have, this anti-America, is from the hippies of the 60s and 70s. The extremists of the 60s and 70s are now the leaders. It's not ban assault chalk. Your feelings are your feelings. That doesn't mean I have to be quiet because you got such a thin skin that you can't even take someone writing someone's name Trump. Oh my God, this world's going to shit. This world is going batshit crazy. I'm just... Gun manufacturers are getting sued, even though there's a law to protect them, and judge says, oh, I don't have the power. You have a college or university banning chalk over someone writing a name. It's amazing. Thank God it's a weekend. Thank God it's the weekend. Oh. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. We'll be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
To Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighPlainsDailyNews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cough for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the ReaverCommonSense.com. While you're there on Reaver Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date on everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the to the Reaver Common Sense, hosted by me, Jersey Joe, trying to make sense out of the senseless. I'm still just mystified by a college university has had to ban chalk for the safety of the people. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com. Just click on the chat room button. Join the conversation. You can bring chalk if you want. If you want to watch the broadcast, go to Reaver.one. Click on the live stream. If you like the live stream, subscribe. Leave a message. If you want to support the show or support SHR Media, chalk has been banned at a university for the safety of the people. Oh my God. And how old are these students, Kel? They're adults. They're adults, and, well, I mean, like, okay, as I told you we would talk about some more, and I've found one of the many articles. You have Ted Cruz fought to keep sex toys illegal in Texas. The headlines are almost too good to be true. Now, if everybody says, well, Cruz is for the Constitution. Cruz is for the freedom of the people. Cruz is for smaller government, unless you want a dildo. Unless you want a sex toy. then nope, the government's going to tell you how to have sex. Government's going to tell you what and how you're going to have pleasure. Who the fuck is Ted Cruz or Texas to tell anybody about that? This shows the exact asinine of conservatives. Now I got that image, Kel. Ted Cruz wears a granny nightie to bed. Conservatives say, and Republicans say, that they are for smaller government, the government stepping out of people's lives. They're about the freedom and life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness of the people. But when it comes to sex, no. We're going to tell you how everything is acceptable. I understand he was doing his job, and the state had it banned. But to sit there and say you're for freedom of the people, and you could be against sex toys all you want. That's your right. That's your right. If you don't like them or don't agree with them, you know what? My wife doesn't. Hey, that's her right. We don't have them. So it's not like I'm bringing this up because I have like 20,000 in my house. No. But it also reminds me of Robert Schimmel, a comedian. He said he went to a sex store, to get a sex toy for his wife. And he says it's so strange. You see this wall of dicks. And you're trying to think of what dick your wife would want. And you don't know what kind of dick your wife would want, but I know what kind of dick I want to get. And that's when he goes, strike what I just said. That I kind of ruined it, but if you think about it. For a man going, I know what kind of dick I want to pick out. People need to get over themselves. This is the hypocrisy of the right. They are no more about freedoms than the left are. I've said it before. I don't give a shit about gays, lesbians. You want to get married? I have to be tortured. So should they. You know what? What you do in the bedroom is your goddamn problem. As long as you're not hurting anyone, animals, or children, I really don't give a shit. You want, and you know what? If a woman's single, per se, let's talk about that, and she has a healthy sex appetite, and instead of running around to the bars, picking up strange men, she decides she's going to be a little safe and has her own little toy to use, so be it. There's toys for men to use, so be it. It's not for Ted Cruz to say we're not allowed to use those types of apparatuses. In 2007, Ted Cruz was the Solicitor General of Texas, and that year his office urged the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit to reject a constitutional challenge to the state's ban on the sale and distribution of sex toys that had been filed by some businesses that hoped to legally sell and distribute such items in the Lone Star State. There's no substantive due process right to stimulate one's genital for non-medical purposes unrelated to procreation or outside of an interpersonal relationship, the Cruz team argued. It's every right. It's my body part. It is mine to do with what I want. And if I want to stimulate it, I will stimulate it. I get tired. We're for the Constitution. We're for people's right. Oh, you want to do something? Oh, trust me, I have no problem saying more than that. I try to be nice on the show a little bit. We'll have a talk outside the show. I'm not innocent, far from it. It's, my wife does that one commercial for me and talking about the devil. Yeah. Whew. I was a hellion. Up until I met her, and still, I have fun. I've had a good life. It just... I cannot believe that he actually fought. And I don't understand. You don't like porn? Great. Don't watch it. Doesn't mean it's bad for people. Can you overdo it on porn? Yeah, you can. Sprain a wrist, carpal tunnel syndrome, all that. Hey, there's injuries within that. They sit there and they talk about how people have the right. People have the right, yes. And just because you may be a tightwad, frigid, whatever, that's your right. But don't force your rights on me. And now my dad, I'm going to go to a story that happened around my area. Right before I moved down here. My parents were living down here, and they had just redid a bar. And they were turning it into... Kel said that explains all the wrist splints at work Monday morning. They turned a bar into a bikini bar. Bikini bar is basically bra and panties have to stay on. Same thing you would see at a beach. Nothing more, nothing less. Because the place served hard liquor and beer, which I don't understand. If you serve beer, you can go topless. Beer only, topless, no liquor, pure naked. I don't understand the correlation to liquors on the clothing, apparel, but it was a bikini bar, and people were protesting. Now, my dad is not one for strip clubs. He won't go to one. He doesn't care for them. But he also understands that that's his opinion, and his opinion doesn't need to be forced on other people. But there was Rhonda Rossi. That's her name. I think Rhonda Rossi. And she was out there picketing, screaming, "Save the children from the strip club." And my dad's question was, when did they start letting kids into the strip clubs? There was no windows. Nobody could see in. People were going in there, men and women, having a good time. Nothing majorly illegal. Okay. When I say nothing major, because the way the Florida state law is, you can't even shake hands with a stripper. That's touching. That's against the law. And I've shaken plenty of hands of strippers. People look down on strippers, and people like Ted Cruz look down upon them. As a woman, being able to go down to your bikini, the same thing you wear at a beach, and walk out with $500 just for dancing. And yes, is there clubs that abuse and break laws? Yes. Everything. We have politicians that break the laws all the time and turn into criminals. Nothing is wrong with any of that. That's everybody's personal opinions. But I don't expect people to accept strip clubs. That's their right not to like them. They have a right. And that's what this. You don't have to like sex toys. That's your right. That is your right. But don't tell other people how to live their life and then say you're about the Constitution. And to bring it back to Cruz again, you have his supporters that scream that they're constitutionalists as they don't want you speaking your mind. You cannot speak your mind on who you want as a candidate. That's what gets me. What also gets me is it's that time, and it is a Friday. And I want to thank everybody for being here today. I enjoy every day that you allow me to do my show. I am honored to actually be here. And with that, remember, I'll be back Monday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And just be safe and have a great, fun weekend. And if you want some sex toys, go get them. You've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with its host, Jersey Joe. You can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com.